que depuis une dizaine d'années, elle a rédigé une dizaine d'études scientifiques publiées dans des journaux scientifiques, médicaux et autres sur les champs électromagnétiques et leur impact sur la santé. Magda Havas, it's your time. Bienvenue Magda, merci beaucoup d'être ici.
Thank you very much. I have no idea what Andre said, so I hope it was all good. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out today because the weather is really quite challenging. It's the first time I've given a talk with my coat on, so thank you for sitting there patiently. I've been asked to talk about smart meters because I know they're coming to Quebec, and I know a lot of people are electrically hypersensitive and have difficulty when they're exposed to this radiation. And so I'm going to give you a primer on smart meters, share with you some of the myths that are out there that are simply not true, that are being perpetuated by the utility and by politicians who don't know the technology. And then I understand we'll have some time for questions as well. Before I start, could I just have a show of hands for people who believe that they or someone they know is electrically hypersensitive? If you could just raise your hand. Okay, so I'm talking probably to the converted. I think you probably know a lot of what I'm going to say, but let's hope some of the information will be new to you. What's coming are smart meters to our community. I live in Ontario, and we already have smart meters in Ontario. They're coming to Canada, to the United States, they're coming around the world, and that's because the utility wants to be able to monitor the energy that we're using and to be able to control it as well. Now, many of you are probably familiar with these analog meters. These are the meters that have a coil that spins around, a disc that spins around, and tells you how much energy you're using or how much power you're using. And in order for them to work, someone comes, a meter reader comes, and takes a measurement, once a month, once every 2 months, depending on the community you're in, and records that information. These meters, these analog meters, use very little power. They don't produce any radiation in the form of electrosmog. What is coming are smart meters, and these are digital meters that will record the energy that you're using and relay it to the utility using microwave radiation. So most of the smart meters we have are actually wireless. You can get wired smart meters, but most of them are wireless because this is a cheaper way of delivering information. They can send and they can also receive, so there's a two-way form of communication with smart meters. Now, how do smart meters work? Well, here you have a home with a smart meter attached to the outside. That smart meter sends a message either to another smart meter, depending on the community that you're in, or directly to something that's on a telephone pole or on a light pole that receives that information. That information is then sent to the utility, and then the utility can come back and modify things if they want to. One of the studies that's being done in Arizona right now is where the utility is asking people that when they have a high peak energy use, so the levels of energy are very high, if the levels go above the amount that the state is producing, so let's assume this is how much energy the state is producing, and the demand is going above this level, that means the state has to buy energy from a nearby utility. And it costs them a lot of money to do that. So they've asked people if they would participate in the project where if this is what is beginning to happen, the utility can actually turn off appliances in your home for a short period of time.